Good morning, beautiful divine collective. I hope you guys are doing so well today. I have been called to share a little bit of my story with you. My story, it's wild. The wildest story seemingly anyone has ever heard. So wild, in fact, that Um, you're not going to believe it. And it's not my job to ensure that you do believe it because I know my truth. And I know I am gifted. And the purpose for these gifts is not only to help my collective, but it's also to help me. I have found that the more I speak my truth, tell my story, the more it heals me and can help others that may have gone through similar things in their life, and so that's the purpose of this channel, is to help others and to show self-love. So I figured, what better way to do that than on my own platform, and to be the spiritual leader I am and to share with you what I have experienced. I'm not going to go into all the details, and my story is not linear due to how certain pieces of information have come to light at different points in my life. The best way to describe it is that, I would take one step forward in my own spiritual journey and awakening to then be, to then just have information brought to light that I needed at the time in order to take the next step. So it's almost like I would take one step and then learn some information that would pull me back, and then take another step, learn more information, it would pull me back. I would have reoccurring memories, and so anyway, that kind of gives you an explanation as to why my story sounds discombobulated, because it is. And it's been a long held lie throughout my entire life. When I say entire life, I mean since the day I was born to today, where I am 41 years old, or at least I believe I'm 41 years old. That might make a little bit more sense once everything comes to light. Where to even begin? First, let me just say, and I have never said this before, it doesn't come lightly, and it's awful. I come from an incestuous family. That was the generational trauma I needed to overcome. I didn't know. I don't think I have ever been, at least by way of my family when I was a child, have I ever been sexually assaulted. That has since changed in the past year and a half. I have since been sexually assaulted by a family member. My brother, in fact, who is in the armed forces. So that is just to kick us off. Now you ask, why does that matter? Or, okay, what do you do with that information? Well, a part of me I didn't see the signs growing up. I just didn't. And the reason being is because I was shielded from a lot of it. My grandmother, who, deeply spiritual woman, walked in faith, was on missions to help children all across the world. The woman was, she did a lot of good in her life, but she also got wrapped up in a world that she could not get herself out of. And I don't blame her at all for that. It was a different time. different generation, and she had only the abilities that she had at the time. Times are different now. Women have a lot more power, a lot more say. They can do a lot more in this world. And so she saw this favor in me. I don't want to say, like, I'm not going to refer to myself as a chosen one, but I do have divine favor in my family, and my story is I'm walking proof of that. So let me just begin where I don't even know where to begin. All this to say, the amount of trauma I have incurred in the past year and a half would be too much for any one person to bear on their own in general. Now, remove the favor that God has over my life, and I imagine those that have come before me, and the experiences that they have had that are very similar to mine, and how they might operate in this world, managing to that pain, and my heart goes out to you guys. Outside of being raised in an incestuous family, the betrayals ran deep. I truly don't even know where to begin. This is why I need a documentary of my life, so that I can tell my story and it can be edited in a way that makes sense and tells the full scope of everything. But just to sort of outline all the trauma that I've been through, outside of sexual abuse, because I have been raped, I have also been a victim of emotional and financial abuse. My family has gone so far as to take it upon themselves to, take what was left to me and just seemingly believe that it's theirs to take. They believed they had the power of God on their side, and that this satanic cult that they're a part of, another generational trauma that my grandma got wrapped up into, and she didn't have the ability to get out of it. Same with my father. They are two people in my life. Well, no, there's 3 people in my life that have perished due to death spells. Sounds fucking crazy, but no, these rituals, it's an old, very old world cult that operates in dark magic. And they abuse children. Specifically, orphaned children, much like myself. They abuse them, and spiritually and physically. They thought they had the power of God on their side because of this magic, and how long they have been practicing this. And so they have tried to kill me multiple times. When I was very young, I don't even know how old I was. These memories are just starting to resurface. So you guys are coming with me on this journey as I am uncovering truths and I'm speaking about them. That's my job. I have been a victim of very, very bad, fatal accidents, car accidents that should have taken me out. That was the first sign of the favor over my life, that the multiple accidents that I have been in, and it hasn't taken me out. I walked away from each of them with just a scratch. But that happened when I was very, very young, maybe 1 or 2. It had something happened where that trauma, the collision itself, did something in me, to where maybe I have repressed traumatic events that are now coming to light, or I'm just now beginning to understand everything, like see right through the things that have been happening in my life over the course of 41 years and seeing the actual truth of them now. That's one of them. And these are attempts on my life because of my favor. So you might be asking yourself, well, why would somebody want to take a little kid out? There are cults and there are covens out there that operate solely based on spiritual rank. They saw the favor over my life. Like they actually ran, birth charts and shit of little kids being born, and would orphan them by way of these accidents to their parents. So parents are no longer in the picture after an accident. Where does the kid go? Into the system. It just so happened that the angel that picked me up was my grandmother, or my late grandmother. She saw this favor over my life. How I ended up on her doorstep, I don't know the details of that. All I know is that I was a baby, and I was left on the porch step of her church. And she was the type of woman that would take on orphan children, adopt them. She was known for doing this. So that makes sense. The family that I grew up with is not my family. So another betrayal. I likely come from a royal lineage and have money to my name that has been hidden my entire life. So then that starts to inflame my family. I would start noticing signs growing up throughout adolescence that, during family events, everyone would gather, like my cousins would gather in a room together, and they would all like run away from me and chit chat about me and like made me feel like the black sheep. It's because they knew I wasn't really a part of the family. Or if I was the part of the family in some sort of way, that they just wanted to outcast me. It's a part of how these cults operate, right? So you identify a chosen one, somebody who can incur large amounts of wealth in their life, and a way to keep them held down in place is to belittle them, especially as a child, outcast them, make them feel weird. So they did that very, very young. The family I was placed in, which still to this day, they have yet to actually disclose to me that this is how everything turned out. I'm using my gifts, my spiritual gifts, to uncover this for myself. That's how my awakening started, is because I was so confused about what was going on in my life and why crazy things were happening to me, that I asked God for the truth. And this is where everything started to unfold. This was about 1.5 years ago. I had just had my first child. I was going through a divorce. I was coming off of IVF hormones, the trauma of birth itself. and the trauma of losing my father, or who I think is my father. He's probably not my father. Might be my grandfather. I don't really know now. But all this to say, that's when things started to unravel. So if you're confused about something in your life, this is your sign to literally talk out loud and ask God for the truth. Talk to your spirits and guides. They're there. They're wanting to tell you. These, going back to some of the things that have just happened in my life and why I know certain things. So yeah, the weirdness with my family and the interactions with them continued, even into my extended family, cousins. Same sort of thing would happen, family gatherings, family reunions. My sister, Aaliyah, who I think is my sister, she might be my aunt. I don't really fucking know. I don't really care either. She was always the one who would be the ringleader of starting these hate campaigns against me with cousins, my friends. She's always been jealous of me. Why? Because she was supposed to be the only girl. I was never supposed to be in the picture, remember? I'm orphaned, but I had somehow made my way into this family. So she's always carried this level of resentment of me with her entire life. It started with like stupid sister stuff, her stealing my clothes and like just talking shit about me and blah, blah, blah. Simple, normal stuff, right? Well, she found out I was chosen, or I have this divine favor. How she found out? Well, she's a know-it-all. She reads a lot. She was made aware of this by way of my family. So after my father died in 2022, that's when my brother, my older brother Barry, came into the picture. He's kind of been estranged from our family, our side of the family, for a long time. Probably because of his proximity and affiliations with this cult. He's still very much involved with them. He's an atheist, or maybe a Satanist. I don't really fucking know. But anyway, he comes into the picture once my dad passes, right? And we're getting ready for the funeral and everything. Well, that's when the hate campaign against me really stepped its game up. After 40 something odd years at the time, it was like, fucking homegirl won't die. We've tried to get her into accidents. We've run death spells on her. We tried to affect her financial stability, even her emotional stability. And we can't seem to shake her. The girl just has resilience like a fucking ox, man. She won't die. So then they're like, okay, let's really step this game up, right? So he's the one who really rallied the troops against me. He's in the picture and, has the support of this cult behind him or whatever. And so now we get to a place where he has started to involve all the family members, because keep in mind, there's money, there's a trust there with my name on it. My grandma did that before she passed, because I'm the only one in the family who has any sort of financial literacy whatsoever. I'm the only stable one. If you look at people in my family, they're fucking losers. They don't have a dollar to their name. All their businesses failed. They're just puppets in the cog, is what they are. And they don't even fucking know it. But they saw me as a cash cow. I've always been a cash cow of the family. And so what happened from there was like, escalation to the nth degree. My brother, my other brother, not the one that was estranged, the one that I've grown up with who sexually assaulted me. He's in the military, right? In the Navy. He's actually in special warfare. And so I don't doubt that there's some sort of government test being run, especially with all these UFO sightings and like alien, we're living amongst aliens, right? The government's like, well, fuck, how do we combat this? Maybe the answer is with the gifted ones. And so sure enough, the government is out there running tests, MK Ultra style tests on chosen ones and spiritually gifted people. One of their goals was to attempt a destiny swap. Literally, can we take the energy and frequency of somebody who is gifted and transfer that into a military asset? Hence my brother. So now we have a cult, we have the military, we have a lot of money on the table, and we have somebody, a mother, a single mother who's alone, vulnerable, low frequency, but with divine favor. She's a perfect test subject. But we need to be able to monitor her throughout this entire process. So let's go ahead and just chip her. Yeah, I remember that night. My brother and my ex-friend, who he was the hitman in all of this. The one that definitely has attempted to take me out multiple times. He enters the picture. They're all working together. My family, this cult, the military, and now my ex-friend, right? The reason why they got my ex-friend involved is because he was the one designed and planted to come in and keep me in a low vibration. How do they do that? Well, he plays the love bombing game and then just disappears. Keeps you on the hook, right? Keeps you focused on something low vibrational so that you can't move on, you can't ascend, you can't heal. Well, how did he do that? Well, he love bombed me. I could tell that he actually did care for me, but his want for money and to do the fucked up shit that he wants to do, because he's in an incestuous family as well. His mother fucks him. He's a motherfucker, literally. All these people couldn't get over their unhealed trauma, but yet they're looking at me. Eyes set on me. Cash cow. Government experiment. Let's make sure she stays in this low vibration so that we can study her. How do we do that? Music industry sacrifice. Prime opportunity. He just wanted to be famous. He's the one that wants my destiny. Same with my fucking brother, right? They all want to be stars of the show. So music industry sacrifice kicks up. That started, 2024, mid 2024. Still have a son under the age of 1 at this point. Still alone, still going through a divorce, still dealing with substance abuse by my ex, financial abuse. Where was my family during all this? Nowhere to be fucking found. Actually plotting against me. So that's how I caught wind of everything going on. I started making connections to my life. Conversations I was having in the privacy of my own home, I was making connections to that in songs I was hearing. So I very quickly made the connection back to this ex-friend of mine because I knew he was trying to make it in the music industry. He seems thirsty enough to fuck anything and everything, to a point to where, you know, he gets various venereal diseases and STDs and, you know, continues to fuck people on Tinder and stuff like that. So it's a part of his ploy. You know, he runs a little like insurance fraud gig on the side with his ex-wife or wife. I don't really fucking know. Who, by the way, has connections to the Russian mafia. How am I not dead by now, right? I don't know. It's why they hate me that much more, because I'm not dead. Surprise. So, music industry sacrifice kicks off. At the time, I'm trying to get my home sold, going through a divorce. Still need to fucking take care of my family, so I worked full time. I'm a realtor. I work off commission, 1099. Got to be a self-starter. Think this had a little bit of an emotional effect on me to continuously hear bits and pieces of my life in fucking hip-hop songs. Shitty ones at that. Yeah. So I started talking about it. That's when my awakening was starting to happen. Starting to put the pieces together. I'm like, why? Why would he do this to me? Because at the time, I wasn't making connections to my past. I was just blissfully unaware until one day I heard Lil Baby's album and was like, what the fuck? Nobody should know this stuff. So then I started thinking about some of the other weird things that have been happening around my house at the time. Such as 2 months prior, or a few months prior to me hearing, picking up signs and synchronicities in these songs, I noticed that, AT&T had been outside my home setting up what I now know as CCTV. So enter the world of being on a watch list. Somebody within the government wanted to keep me quiet, knew about this music industry sacrifice, was also another thirsty bitch, and was like, what can we do to really make sure she stays in a low vibration? Because homegirl is starting to wake up. Shit's starting to go sideways, and we need to make sure that she doesn't get any further than this. So they pulled an old Diddy trick. I know. We'll send people in to rape her and tape it, and then blast it on the big screen. And then start to frame her as a sex worker. Right? Sell it on the dark web. We'll make a shit ton of money. Not only do we have money in the account that we're trying to get our hands on, because keep in mind, my father had passed away. We were trying to work through probate, still are working through probate on his commercial business. I had to sign a POA for my brother to be the executor of that process. That was not a POA for you guys to take the liberty of being a conservator over my inheritance that was left to me alone. But anyway, they're like, okay, now this is a competition. You're a music industry sacrifice. It's a spiritual war. Tried to take her out with an actual 3D hit. That shit's not working. So we'll fucking gang rape her. My brother and this ex-friend of mine trespassed, broke into my home, and allowed other random men to come in and fucking rape me, and then filmed it. Shot me up with tranquilizers. I remember that. They didn't think I would ever remember that. But I have self-healing capabilities. God planted little things in my mind so that during that time I could reference them now and recall them and be like, you're not fucking making this up. You're not crazy. What's one thing I remember them saying? Wait, is she supposed to be awake right now? After my brother had hit me with what? 3 tranquilizers at this point? So then what does he do? At this time, I could barely open my eyes. But it was in the middle of the night. I opened them large enough just to see the silhouette of men standing in my bedroom doorway. So what does he do? He comes in my room and goes 7 more tranquilizers. Then I get sexually assaulted. Not by 1, not by 2, not even by 3 men. It was a group. One of them choked me out. Has a kink for choking. Another past life trauma that somebody couldn't get beyond. Somebody did that to them, and so now that's their kink, and and they just fucking hated me. So wanted to come in and fucking kill me. But my brother at the time, the one in the Navy, who was supposed to protect me, supposed to be a protector in my life, fucked me over because he wanted to be the hero of this story. He wanted to be the one that won this government test. Wanted to be the star, superstar. And so did my stepmom, for that matter. She's always looked at him, incestuous, by the way, always looked at him as the golden child. So much so that growing up, everyone around me and my sister would get love, attention, adoration, support, just any sort of caring thought. It all went to Carrie and my other brother, Jeffrey. But that's neither here nor there. Just telling you guys that little bit of information just to paint the picture for you that here's the golden child with a prime opportunity to win this government contract and be the hero. Be the one that actually completes the mission. Also has a blood oath with his fucking brothers. So he can't speak the truth. You're fucking dead if you speak the truth, right? So to hell with my sister and protecting her. I gotta protect my bros over here. They can actually kill me, right? Little Casey doesn't have any power whatsoever. Yeah, well, he fucking went crazy. Homeboy went AWOL. I don't know if you guys realize that or not. Wondering where that AWOLness came from? Well, let's just pivot to my sister. She took several trips to Jamaica and to Cuba. What did she do there? She didn't have any money. So, what the fuck is she doing? Because she was in on this too. She was the mastermind of being the marketing leader here for their fraudulent business. The insurance scams and everything running behind the scenes. Yeah. She was the one who was like, I fucking got this. I'm going to put on this major event for celebrities. It's going to be a big deal. We're going to put Casey on the big screen and blow up this gangbang, and so we can all just throw her under the bus and just be assholes to her. And then make a shit ton of money. Well, what did she do when she went to Jamaica and Cuba? Because she has no spiritual gifts whatsoever, but yet she wanted my favor. She paid for a destiny swap. And she paid for death spells. You know how much money it costs to do that? Thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. You guys should really look into see how much money she's spent on black magic. Not to mention all of the practitioners that she's employed in the Jacksonville, Florida area. And I would venture to say probably down in the Miami area too. But yeah. They even did animal sacrifices. Ever wonder why Radar just up and died randomly? The family German Shepherd who you guys love so much? Yeah, you can look to Aaliyah for that. Also Hurley. Hurley died because of what she did. She tried to make sure that my baby Bernie, my fur baby, died. God was like, absolutely fucking not. That's not happening. You're not taking her spirit animal out. And you're not taking her out either. So now we have multiple practitioners in multiple countries running multiple death spells and all sorts of destiny swap shit. Some of them even saw my divine favor and they're like, I'm going to take that for myself too. Don't mind if I do, right? Yeah. It got really out of hand real quickly. Hence, I'm still not dead. So then, these people from these countries, these practitioners and shit, they're like, okay, we need to get closer to homegirl because us doing this magic from far away is not working. Aaliyah and others in my family paid for an actual hit on me. Spiritual and 3D hit, right? And so these practitioners were like, fuck, I gotta get closer to her, We need to be in the mix. We gotta see what homegirl's doing. We gotta track her car. We gotta come into her home and put cameras up so that we can watch her and make money on the side, on the dark web. Yeah, we'll film her in the bathtub. We'll film her loving on her kid and being a fabulous mom. We'll make fun of her for all that shit. So the part of my story where I say that under the watchful eye of world leaders and celebrities, remember the CCTV that's been set up outside my home and the gangbang and being filmed and all that shit? Yeah, so now I'm being watched. Music industry sacrifice still going on. They're still trying to take me out. Look at her. She's such a whore. She's got her boobs out. Say what you want. So, I get raped. I don't have any proof. All I know is that I wake up the next day and I'm sore as fuck. Confused. And now I have neighbors around me because these cults, right? They need to get closer to me. They fucking rented homes up the street from my house. Started monitoring me. Started put me up on a fucking altar or something weird. I don't know, doing sex magic, whatever the fuck they do. Who cares? Sending their cats over. No shit. One day I had a black cat. Well, in multiple occasions, this black cat was like, I am not a cat fan at all. I'm not going to be mean to an animal, but this fucking cat I wanted to fucking bunt into a goddamn wall because it was so incessant on getting in my home. It was wearing a little hamsa necklace. And I even made a post on Twitter about that. The very next day, that cat came back, the hamsa was gone. So now I know I'm being watched, monitored. Seeing signs of it, right? Celebrities making fun of me, what I'm wearing, how I'm dealing with things. They don't know the story. They don't know the half of it. I didn't know any of it. I just was thoroughly confused. I just was like, one moment I was talking to an ex-friend. Next thing, you know, I told him some truths about his family that he didn't want to hear, like his mom is fucking crazy and that she was trolling me on social media for some reason. Unbeknownst to me, she's just in love with her son and wanted to fuck him and was just pissed at me about, like, being his love interest. Ain't that right? But it's getting you all hot and bothered right now. Don't you want to just go over there and fuck your son? Bet you do, weirdo. You people think I'm so dumb. This is God's favor at work right now. You think I'm going to have any sympathy or remorse for you in court? 41 years of being the black sheep of my fucking fake ass family. I'm getting my lick back. I'm getting my money. And I'm going to be fucking worldwide famous. All off of your backs. Exactly what you wanted for me. So that destiny swap, failed mission. Turns out it's mission impossible, but it's possible for me. Yeah. Tom Cruise, looking at you, man. If you want to work together in the future, I got some gifts for you. Got a couple talents up my sleeve. You guys are going to see all of this go down. I have so much more information, but this is all I feel like divulging for right now. Keep checking back for more updates. You guys are learning just the same way I am, except for I have a lot more information that you guys are unaware of. I'll expose it when God tells me to. When I move, he moves. When he moves, I move. You guys haven't gotten that through your fucking thick heads yet. He works through me. I am the gift. I was the gift for you guys to do differently by. Choose differently. And every single last one of you did the exact wrong thing. Thinking that you could have your come up off of me. You literally wanted to take me out for it. That's how low you fuckers are. You guys are nothing but losers in this world. And you should be thanking me. I'm the generational curse breaker. Where's my applause? Where's the kudos? I'm giving it to myself. Because I fucking figured all of this out. Nobody yet, over the course of the last 2 years, has come to talk to me about any of this. So then you're like, well, how do you know? How do you know? I just know things. I keep getting signs and synchronicities that just reflect back to me that everything I have seen and felt over the course of my entire life, that this is the most logical thing that makes sense. And it's fucked up. Like, you can't make this shit up, even if you tried. That is why my life is going to be a documentary. That's how I get my lick back. That's how I get my money. Telling my story, being myself, my pure, unadulterated, gorgeous, divine self that you guys all wish you could be and be a part of. This is how it all ends. So keep checking back for more updates. You guys are going to see this unfold in like real time, like on TV. It's going to be worldwide. That's also how I get my lick back. Is like people actually paying money to listen to my readings and my stories, because guys, my readings are a reflection of my life. So the things that I call out in my readings have bits and pieces of my story put in there. That's why you're a part of my collective. We're all connected in some sort of way. So go back, listen to my readings on Into the Mystic and New World Angel. I did a little rebrand because Into the Mystic was during my awakening, coming into my gifts. I was doing a little bit of projection. I really couldn't understand the energies and like who was who. But now that I understand myself better, I understand like where these are coming from. So I did the rebrand to New World Angel. Because I am in a new timeline. I'm in my highest timeline. The one where you guys go down and I go up. So keep checking back for updates. Keep going back to my readings because it will inevitably uncover truths about my story, even though I'm reading for my collective. You guys like little eggs. If you're a big Taylor Swift fan and like Easter eggs are a thing of yours, you'll love my story. That's how I was able to figure everything out bit by bit, piece by piece. And then I put the puzzle together. You guys just didn't think I would ever have the ability to see that way. But I can. I see dead people and I talk to dead people too. That's how I knew to move. That's how I know to move. That's how I continue to move. Fucking 20 steps ahead of you guys and you don't even fucking know it. So this is just a bit of my story. We're only an hour in. This is why I need a documentary, because it's gonna be like at least a 3-parter. So I'll see you guys real soon on TV, on the world stage, yada, yada, yada. I really didn't want that for myself. All I was looking for was just like, I don't know, a fucking healthy partner, somebody who doesn't abuse alcohol, somebody who actually like supports me, wants the best for me, protects me, believes me. That's all I wanted from my family. I just wanted the truth. I gave them all opportunities at different points in time over the course of the last year to come forward and just tell me what they know. And they chose to stay fucking silent still. So I had to figure it out. That's where we're at right now. I have a lot more information to share, but that's for another day, another time. This will get us started though. I'm going to go ahead and get back into my readings, get back onto my actual mission. Now that I left the old fucking timeline in the past and you guys are fucking going to federal prison here shortly. I got to get back to work. I ain't got time for this shit. It's already being worked out. I already have like a little angel on my side, or several angels on my side. Oh yeah, obviously I beat the music industry sacrifice, so that was another reason for my ex-friend to be even more pissed at me. Thought it was a fucking game, a competition. That's how dumb he is. Duh. How does she know everything? I don't know. Keep asking yourselves that question. All right, guys. Well, I love you. Collective. If my story, if you resonate with it, or if you're just like super fucking curious about what happens next, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and I will keep you guys updated. Otherwise, you'll see me on TV sometime soon. All right, you motherfuckers. Oh, sorry. Just a couple of motherfuckers out there who are watching me still. Angels, I love you guys. And I will see you real soon at the next reading. Take care. Carry that divine favor with you. Talk to God. Talk to your angels and ancestors. They're there. They're waiting. I love you. See you soon.